and welcome to Discover Scottish Gardens flower pressing video. So today we're in a nice day in the gardens, nice and sunny, calm, no wind. What we're going to do is just look at a little bit about how to pick and press flowers for the best effects that you can get. So first of all, just make sure that whoever's land you're on, you've got their permission to pick flowers. It is illegal to pick wild flowers, so make sure you do get permission from the landowner. If you're in your own garden, that's absolutely fine. So today I've just brought with me just a little tin. Inside the tin I've just got layers of kitchen paper, and this is just to collect flowers whilst you're out in the field or on your walks. It's a good safe way of keeping the flowers safe without getting squashed or damaged. You can then just put the lid on the tin and you can put it in your rucksack and walk with it. So I'm just going to gather a few of the little flowers from around the gardens here. All different flowers, they'll press differently, so you can just experiment with a few different ones. So I'm going to try some scillas, some daffodils, some bluebells, and then we've got some primulas as well. So I've just got a little selection here, so you can put them in your tin lid just as you're collecting them. So some narcissi, different primulas. Just make sure that when you're picking, just take one from each clump, just so it doesn't deplete the stock too much and it saves food for the bees as well. So if you take all your tissue out and start with the bottom layer, so just put one layer of tissue in the bottom of your thing, in your tin. Put your primulas in, so this isn't to press and this is just to preserve them on your walk. Morning! So just lay them in your tin, just to stop them getting damaged. So they're just in that layer. Fold the tissue down, keeps them nice and safe, and then you can go to a new area then. So put the rest of the tissue in, and then you can put that in your bag or your rucksack or whatever you've got with you, and it'll keep it safe. They won't get squashed or damaged until you get back home to be able to press your flowers. Hi again. So although these videos are for the Spring Flower Festival, there's lots of nice leaves. As the leaves are growing, they're all the tiny little new shoots, different shapes of leaves. There's even a new nice one just there on the grass. So have a look around you and see what leaves you can see. But he's just having a look. So I've just picked these ones if you wanted to have a look. So there's some really nice delicate new growth leaves. Even some of the ferns work really well. So this is a lovely one. And some leaves with patterns on, so that's an arum lily, but it's got some really nice patterns on the leaf there. These things. And then even moss works really well as well, so don't just think flowers when you're collecting for a press. See what nice leaves you can get, because the shape of the leaf, you can get some really nice designs, so you can see that really nice shape on the leaf there. So have a look around, see what leaves you can find as well, and then when we take them back, we'll show you how to press them. So now you've collected all your flowers, you'll have your tin and your bits of your kitchen paper. So once you get back, you can take all of these out. So these are just my spare bits. So just carefully take them out. And inside there, when you fold them out, you'll have all your leaves and your flowers that have been nicely brought home without getting squashed. So each little layer will have more leaves in, spread them all out so they don't get squished. So pull them all out. My flowers are in this one. Oh, it's got little bugs in there as well. Put those back. So all you need for the next bit, so I've got some elastic bands to hold my press together, and my press is made up of just sheets of just smaller than A4 size corrugated cardboard, and just some sheets of newspaper. So these are sheets of newspaper that are folded in half, and then they are the same size as your press. So these will go in between the layers of your cardboard. So as you're layering it up, just put a piece of the cardboard on the base layer. Move these to the side so you can see. So your piece of cardboard goes on your base layer. Take a piece of your newspaper, open it up, and you can literally just shake them on, because then you can arrange them as they're coming out. So as you've picked your leaves, just decide what you want the shapes to look like once they're pressed, so you can deconstruct them a bit. So you could either just take the little buds off and have them as separate buds like this. Think about what it's going to look like when it's pressed. So if you just take the top off, you're going to have a star-shaped leaf when it's dried. So you could do it like that. Or you could just have the individual leaves and deconstruct it even further. So that's quite nice to do, and then you can arrange them again then once they're pressed. So you could take just the leaves off and spread them out on your page so they've got room to press. There we go. And the same thing with all the rest of the leaves, just make sure they've got enough room around them. These ones are lovely. So you could just lay those on again, or you could take them off, so the little individual ones. So as you can see there, they've got lots of room, they're not going to overlap. So once they're on your paper, fold over that layer, just put another piece on top, and then you go again with the next layer. Again, you can just tip them on and spread them out. Just give them a bit of room. They'll all press differently, and as this piece of paper goes back on top, it might move your leaf from where you arranged it, but that's quite nice. Sometimes it gets folds in the leaves or the petals, which are out of your control, but quite nice. So with the flowers, you could either press them side on, so put it down like that, or you can press them face down, and that's when you get more of a flower shaped press. So with this one, because it's got the green bit on the back of it, I'd take this bit off, just nip it with your fingernail, and the flower will come off. And then if you just lay that flower face down, you'll get a nice flat flower shape once that's pressed. Again with these, so you could take these off the stem, or you could press them as like a cluster of the flowers. I'm going to take them off and put them, if you put them face down, that's when you get a nice flower shape. There we go. And some ferns. With these ones as well, so you could press that all in one clump, or you could take off the little individual tiny little things that look like berries. So you could try a bit of both. Pick two, press one that's whole and one that's deconstructed, and see what the different effects you get. So some flowers, I think it's when they've got a higher moisture content, some flowers press better than others. So if it's quite a thin flower, it presses quite well and it'll keep the colour. If like this, it's quite a chunky flower, and it seems to have a higher moisture content, they may lose the colour a bit more and they may shrivel a little bit more. So it's good to experiment with the amount of time that you press each different flower for as well. Again with this one, you could press it whole or you could deconstruct it, so I'm just going to press that one whole as well. And this one too, little pretty flowers. So that's the next layer, so then just lay it on. Get your next piece of card, put it on top. So you can keep adding to this day in, day out, so you can check layer at a time. So you could do this today, you could then go collect some more tomorrow and just add on the top, and then you can take them out from the bottom. So they don't all have to be pressed for the same amount of time. And then I've just got elastic bands that are wide enough to fit around the whole of the board. So if you hold it, try not to drop anything out of it, keep it flat until you've got your elastic bands on. So just put 2 on each side. So we've got 2 going this way, and then we'll put 2 going the other way as well. If you've got more flowers, or you want to develop it from more of a makeshift homemade press, you can use pieces of hardboard on the top and bottom, and you can just use a belt around it. So that's what Shelley used for the herbarium, but it's the same concept. It's layers of corrugated cardboard, paper, and then just a board on top. So you could either put this now just under some heavy books, somewhere dry, it doesn't have to be that warm, just to make sure it's not in a damp place. So indoors, in an airing cupboard would be ideal, and then just keep checking it every couple of days. Probably takes about a week for them to be pressed and properly dried, and then you can work with them. But you can keep checking, so even if you just take one side of the elastic bands off and peep inside the press, you'll be able to see how pressed the flower is and how dried out it is. But that's just a quick and easy press that you could use. I will now go back up to the stables and we'll show you some of the flowers that have been pressed for the herbarium. Hi, so I'm just here in the gardens, and I thought I'd show you the herbarium flower presses that Shelley did, and some of the apprentices last year. So this is the press that I was referring to. So it's literally just a belt with the same paper and cardboard, and then it's just got 2 pieces of hardboard, top and bottom. But they had this stacked up probably this tall, so when you're doing a lot more sheets and pages, it's probably better to have a solid top and bottom just so it doesn't fold in the middle. So that's nice and sturdy. This was kept upstairs in the office. It was next to a radiator but not on a radiator, and it was probably about 2 to 3 weeks before everything was pressed and ready to come out of it. But yeah, just keep checking it. With anything that's either a white flower or a pale yellow flower, if it's left too long or it's dried too quickly over a radiator, it can lose its colouring, so it'll go a bit yellowy or brown tinged rather than white, or if it's a pale pink, maybe it could go a bit browny. So if that happens, it's probably a bit too warm wherever it is, so try and put it just somewhere that's dry and not heated. And then this is the results of the herbarium that they made. So it's in a sealed file, and these are special acid-free wallets. So that's to preserve the flowers that have been pressed in there. So these are the herbarium specimens that were pressed. So last year, I think it was probably one of each of the specialist snowdrops, but they didn't do them all. There's about 250 different varieties, so they've just selected a few. They've pressed them in the flower press, they take them out of the press, and then they've just been stuck onto cartridge paper with PVA glue, and then the specimen label has been added onto it. So you can make your own herbarium at home. The only thing that has to be official about it, if you wanted it to join a herbarium somewhere else, like a registered herbarium, is this information here. I'll just hold that a bit closer so you can see. So it's got the plant information, it's got the name of the plant, it's got where it was picked, it's got the date it was picked, and it's got who it was picked by. So to be put into a registered herbarium, that's the information that it has. But for your own information at home as well, it's quite nice to add that. So these are some of the different snowdrops that were pressed. So they did them all differently. They can be laid out however you like on the page. There's no specific way. So this one you can see has been deconstructed. It's quite nice. So this is just a nice way to show your collection as well. So these are all preserved now. In these wallets they'll keep fresh, they won't lose any more colour, and this is just a normal cardboard box, but it stops it from deteriorating any. So this is a nice way to present your pressed flowers. Or if you wanted to get more creative, you could make cards, you could make pictures, and it's up to you what you'd like to do with them. So that's our collection here at Cambo. Happy flower pressing, hope you have fun, and we'll see you soon next week for the next video. Thank you, bye!